Welcome back to Inside the Boardroom, guys. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Rory Quinn, CEO of Yukon Metals. Yukon Metals is ready to drill and will kick off the season next month at a few high-priority targets. Star River and AZ are the targets that we'll be focused on in this segment. Rory, first of all, welcome to the program. Can you give us a brief overview on Yukon Metals to get us started?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rachel. Well, Yukon Metals is the product of 30 years of prospecting by the Birdall family. They're the group behind Snowline Gold's world-class gold discovery in the Yukon, where Snowline is gold-focused, primary gold. Yukon Metals is gold, silver-focused, copper, and critical metals. So today we'll talk about Star River and AZ, two really great projects and drill targets upcoming. I came into Yukon Metals through Keith Newmeyer, who worked with the Birdalls on launching Snowline Gold, and he brought me in to finish doing the capital funding with Yukon Metals and closing the transaction and getting the listing. So we listed around June 3rd of last year, raised $15 million out of the gate, brought in just a really great group of investors that now have supported us again with this recent raise that we've just done of over $10 million. And I think roughly 75% of the funds that came in were from existing investors. And so a really strong show of support. And yeah, so we're now in a very strong position heading into our second field season with high priority drill targets and $17 million in the treasury.
So as you mentioned, 10 million Canadian dollars raised recently. Great news. Even more better on top of that is there's 17 million now in the treasury. Can you walk us through deeper details, highlights of the deal, and what ultimately drove investor interest here at the end of the day?
Yeah, so the deal was at 55 cents with an 80-cent half warrant. I think really what drove that interest, and it was during a relatively tumultuous time in the market over the last few weeks. But look, I think we've managed to put together a really high quality team for a junior with deep experience in the space, deep experience raising money even in difficult markets. Deep experience in communications with the market, and then certainly on the technical side, working from discovery through to resource compilation as well. So I think having the right team assembled is key. I think because of that team, we were able to execute very well over the last year, and that builds investor confidence doing what you say you're going to do. Obviously, $3,200 gold doesn't hurt, and most of our key assets, there's a gold element in each of them, which I'll take you through. But so that certainly doesn't hurt. Yeah, I think it really comes down to just a wonderful group of investors that we have. And that investor confidence in really re-upping and supporting this raise as well.
Well, let's talk about some rocks next. As mentioned at the top, we've got Star River and AZ. Next month is when you'll get started with Star River. Can you walk us through the key highlights of number one, Star River, and then break down AZ?
One of the things to explain, and one of the key things for investors to understand, is above and beyond the geologic potential at Star River and AZ is their accessibility. They're both incredibly accessible and proximal to road and power. So at Star River, we are on an all-access road that's plowed by the government year-round. So it's roughly 5 hours from Yukon Airport. It's about an hour south of Ross River. So it can be accessed very easily. It shows very well. I've stayed in a cabin roughly an hour away. And so, it'd be great for site visits and such. But yeah, once we start drilling at Star, we believe we'll be able to drill well into winter. So this is really separates it from a lot of more remote projects in the Yukon. We believe we'll be able to bring in goods, people. We'll be able to bring in Timmins type drill rigs on skids and be able to put a hut on top of them to keep people warm in winter. So really enabling us to drill for a lot longer. And then because it's on all access road, we'll be able to bring the drill in. It won't have to be helicopter supported, which saves a lot of money on per meter drilling costs. So that's the accessibility portion of Star River. Getting into the rocks, we have bonanza grade gold and silver at Star River, and like I said, just a wonderful target there, where all of our efforts to triangulate the best possible drill target last season, all really overlapped in one area. So we've had, when I mentioned bonanza grade gold and silver, we had over 100 gram per ton gold, almost 11,000 gram per ton silver. And in one specific area to the south of our property, we had our highest concentration of silver grade, our highest gold grade at 101 grams per ton. We had our biggest magnetic response in doing magnetic geophysics. And then we had our largest gravity response as well, all in the same area. So just a bullseye target. And what we think we'll be drilling into in the coming weeks and months here is drilling into at surface silver veins, puncturing through the silver vein, and then into a gold bearing manto about 50 meters beneath surface. So we believe we've got an opportunity for a 2-4 here in all of the drilling at Star River. So that Star, we're tremendously excited about that. And at AZ, getting back to how proximal it is, it's 6 kilometers away from the Alaska Highway. So we'll be able to access that from the Alaska Highway. At AZ, it's 3.5% copper right at surface. And that's on one end of a large trend. There's a 1.2 kilometer long Gossan zone where you can see all the way across from the air, and we've sampled along this 1.2 kilometer long Gossan zone and seen substantial high grade copper. And then at the end of another trend that this Gossan zone sits within, and that's 5 kilometers away. There was historic work done there by the Birdos that returned 10.3% copper. So we're going to focus at Star River. We're going to focus at Star River and at AZ on this low-hanging fruit, this 3.5% copper that outcrops at surface. But then we're going to test this entire 5 kilometer long trend, testing for continuity. So really demonstrating here, there's the chance for very high grades, as I've walked you through, but also tremendous opportunity for district scale as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about gold's stellar performance, and silver also is set up to potentially go up to $50 as well. So really interesting as we look ahead for Yukon Metals.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, gold tends to lead the way. And yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of my career with Silver Wheaton, which was then Wheaton Precious Metals. And so silver can lag gold a bit, but generally will, if you wait long enough, it can outperform gold as well. So I think we see the highest gold to silver ratio in my recent memory. So I think silver is set to perform here too.
I guess last but not least, let's talk about your bullishness on the Yukon, the region here. Final thoughts as we close the interview on why, again, you're bullish here on Yukon, and last words you want to share with our investors.
Yeah, well, I think what I've said about this in the past and what has really taken me aback working in the Yukon for the first time in my career is just the wild level of prospectivity. It is, I mean, if I was to take you to Star River, we could walk up from the access road, hike up 10 minutes, and we could literally, with a mining pick, we could literally hack metal out of the ground, right? It is just wild. And then specific to us, there is just this incredible abundance of prospectivity in the Yukon. But with us and the two projects I just walked you through, they are also incredibly close to road and power as well. So definitely impressed with the abundance in the Yukon. And there's another asset too that I haven't spoken about today, and we'll be putting out news on that shortly, and that's Birch. At Birch, we believe we have an intact copper porphyry. The projection of which is shown by a 1,400 meter long gold in soil anomaly. That's 0.99 gram per ton gold over 1,400 meters, up to 0.99 gram per ton gold, I should say. And so we're really excited to get in there. That will be the subject of news coming up here. And so we've got 3 wonderful targets that we'll be working on this field season.
And if you can remind me, I think Birch, in terms of planned dates for the exploration program, is September, October of this year?
Yeah, that's right. So sequentially, we'll look to be in Star River in May, and starting in May and June, and then at AZ in June, July, and then Birch August, September. Yeah, so very excited about that. And finally, our ticker is YMC on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
Perfect. Rory, thank you so much. We'll make sure to include that in the details below for our viewers. That's Rory Quinn, CEO of Yukon Metals. Thanks for watching.